We switch over here to our OL Reign, who continued their early regular season here, playing their first Challenge Cup match of the year, and coming away with 7 goals scored over their past 2 games played, which is pretty solid. So we look over here to the first match of the week, which was their first contest in the Challenge Cup. They would go down to California to play Angel City. April 19th at Angel City was a 2-0 win. Our player of the game for Jordan Haidama. Haidama, 1 goal on 1 shot. It was her first goal of the 2023 season, and it would put this game just out of reach for Angel City, who obviously didn't score at all. So Seattle marched into BMO Stadium and got that win there on the road. Nice to see that. They still have never lost, knock on wood, to either team, neither of the expansion teams from California, which is an impressive feat. And it gets them their first win of the Challenge Cup, starts the Challenge Cup off right. We go over here to the second game of the week, April 22nd versus the Chicago Red Stars back at Lumen Field. The Reign would win that one 5-2. Our player of the match forward, Bethany Balcer, a 9.2 match rating, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 shots, an 85% passing percentage, and 2 chances created. We're going to go to our photos of the match here, obviously, with the Angel City match being down on the road. We don't have any photos of that, but we had 2 photographers on site for the 22nd versus Chicago. This first one here, the celebration by Megan Rapinoe doing a little bit of a wiggle dance. I can't entirely explain it. I can't dance for anything. Taken by Liv Lyons here. Right in front of Liv, you can see the reaction from the rest of Rapinoe's teammates and even Jess Fishlock doing, paying some sort of tribute there. And then we have this other photo taken by Liz Wolter of the initial celebration where Rapinoe came over to the crowd and started to celebrate there. So this match, the match against Angel City, it was nice to see that Jess Fishlock scored the first goal and did a chicken dance. So that was interesting. The dances around the Reign continue to just get, this is something that's going to continue to develop, I'm sure. Our player of the match, Bethany Balcer, even had a few different ones where she came over to the bench and there were props to these celebrations. So that was interesting to see. This past week as a whole, though, to see those 7 goals take place, it was good to see for the Reign, considering that, especially the Chicago match where you score 5. Last year, they struggled with a lot of finishing opportunities to begin the year. They've done the same thing, still struggling with finishing here. But to see Balcer get in there, the first goal on some great build-up play, a pass into the box by Veronica Lasco, Jordan Haidam, a great dummy to pretend that she's going to either receive the ball or shoot it. Leads right to Balcer, who all she had to do was give it a strong kick into the goal. And then the second one, I wrote about it in the article. Effectively, it looked like she dunked on whoever she was contesting the header for. As she, the Red Stars player was in great positioning to clear that header, but Balcer just got up higher and just absolutely bodied her for that second goal. Both of those scored within a 5-minute stretch. And then Fishlock was able to score as well, a brace. So it's the first time in club history that 2 players have had a brace. Overall, just really, really solid for the Reign there. And that's what you like to see. The 2 goals were some defensive lapses. The first one, all the Reign players had shifted towards the goal line where the cross was coming to, leaving Aaron Wright of Chicago wide open with enough space to just fire away. And then the second one was also a lapse in play. So, the Reign, who are historically really solid defensively there under Laura Harvey, with this back line, with Fallon Tullis-Joyce and net, those can be corrected, but what's really, again, exciting to see is the finishing that the club has had there over these past 2 matches. So you're hoping that continues going forward. The injury report against Angel City, midfielder Angelina continues to be out with a season-ending knee injury. She's working back to that. She is practicing with the team lately, which is a big step forward for her, and she was obviously going to be out for the Chicago match as well. Rose Lavelle was out with a leg injury, and defender Phoebe McLaren is out with a back injury. Questionable for that Angel City match, Bethany Balcer with a hamstring, Sam Hyatt with a leg injury, and Olivia Vanderiat with a hip injury. Out versus Chicago, again, Angelina. Rose Lavelle continues to be out with a leg injury. Head coach Laura Harvey said they're progressing with her, did not provide a timetable for Rose, but you have to imagine that with any injury with Rose Lavelle, the Reign are going to be cautious, as Lavelle will be featuring with the U.S. Women's National Team in this year's Women's World Cup later on in the year. Phoebe McLernon continues to be out with a back injury. Quinn, midfielder, was out with a leg injury. Head coach Laura Harvey said that injury is initially, this is going to sound bad, but when it's compared to what it is, or compared to what it could have been, it sounds better. Laura Harvey said that this is more of a weeks issue as opposed to a long-term issue. So it sounds like Quinn's injury missed out on being something more long-term, and that they will be fine and should be back within the next few weeks. But thankfully, the Reign do have some semblance, some really nice depth at the midfield position. Also, continuing with the midfield sort of theme here, Olivia van der Yacht was out in this match with an excused absence. So nothing sort of team-related news here. In league-related news, there's some stuff happening around the NWSL, and as well with news about the 2027 Women's World Cup. In Kansas City, they have fired their manager, Matt Potter. He was out in Kansas City for issues around his leadership and employment responsibilities. So that's an interesting departure there. And the Utah Royals, the newest expansion team that will join the league next season, have named their head coach, former U.S. Women's National Team star Amy Rodriguez, who has been a two-time NWSL champion and has won the Women's World Cup before, becomes manager over in Utah. And then lastly, the U.S. and Mexico announced a joint bid to co-host the Women's World Cup in 2027. Seattle would likely be one of the host cities for that, meaning that back-to-back years of the World Cup and having grass means that Lumen Field would likely move to a permanent grass field. So looking ahead, the Reign sit at a 3-win, 1-loss, no draws record in the regular season, a 1-win record in the Challenge Cup. So they sit at a second place in the league table with 9 points for the regular season, and first in the Western Division in the Challenge Cup with 3 points. Looking ahead, their next match, April 29th, they head out on the road to play Racing Louisville with a 4:30 p.m. start. There's not too much of a book on Louisville here, but you're looking, I talked about it pretty extensively in the first one. I'm not too worried about the defensive side of things for the Reign, considering how strong they've been, how strong that back line has been for them, as well as obviously Fallon Tullis-Joyce's continued rise. But that finishing, if they can maintain that, they're going to be a dangerous team throughout the year. Yeah, Louisville, 3 draws on the year and a loss. Nothing too exciting. Their goal differential is not too horrible. They do have a -2 goal differential. Louisville just kind of seems like they're middling for this point in time. So you'd like for the Reign to go in there and handle business.